whether you can hear that noise, but the birds are chirping today, so our pollution must be not too bad at this time of the day. But we're always thinking about people that we haven't seen for a while. Now, Nigel Cornick, of course, really set the real estate industry apart here from anything we've seen before. He introduced the real estate industry really internationally and marketed real estate as we've never seen it before. Then he disappeared for a while and we all had these rumours about where he was going to go, what he was going to do and much, much more. He is in fact the CEO of Binswanger Brooker, Thailand. So we thought we'd find out what he's doing and when's he going to get back into the spotlight again. Nigel, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Binswanger Brooker, that's an unusual name. I think Brooker we've heard of before because they were in Thailand some years ago. Yeah. Can you tell us about the organisation?
I think the Binswanger name is a bit of a mouthful.
It is a bit of a mouthful, yeah.
But Binswanger is an American corporate real estate group that specialises in representing large multinational corporations globally in their real estate needs. So people like Intel, Comcast, Walmart are all some of the clients that the Binswanger act for. A few years ago, my partners, the Brooker Group, entered into a joint venture with Binswanger to represent them in Thailand, particularly to represent them in areas that their specialist expertise was related to, industrial such like. For a few years, nothing was done. Kun Chan, the chairman of Brooker, asked me if I'd be interested in joining him when he heard I'd left Raymond. And so we've jointly invested in this business, and the intention is to make it a leader in the areas that it particularly specialises in.
So in those areas, you're still in the real estate industry, but it goes beyond purely the home condominium, it goes beyond the commercial outlet, it goes beyond the industrial. It's any project that you believe has an opportunity to be built, continued, and you're able to also look at the financing too, I suppose, of that project and help the developers.
Yeah, I think we've learnt, and I've certainly learnt over the 40 years in the real estate, you've got to focus on where you think the opportunities are and not dissipate your attention over too wide areas. So we're not necessarily going to be looking at every single opportunity that comes across our doorstep, but certainly where there's a specific need, either from a client's perspective or from a tenant's perspective, then I think we will be able to assist them. And with the Binswanger support, which is quite considerable, they do represent, say, most of the top 500 Fortune companies somehow or other in the States, so that's a powerful network of contacts, and they've got, I think, 33 regional offices around the world, which means that they can service pretty much any part of the globe for their clients.
Nigel, are you and Kanchan purely looking after Thailand, or if we've got people in Thailand saying, well, look, we're thinking of opening an industrial estate or a property in Vietnam, is that something, because of the Binswanger Brooker Group, you can actually also get involved in?
Yeah, it's actually quite an interesting question, because just I think a month ago we were talking this through with Jeff Binswanger, the chairman of Binswanger, and he mentioned to us that a number of Thai clients had actually been in contact with some of their offices in the States for particular manufacturing facilities. So I think there is an opportunity to move potentially that way. I think Vietnam is probably a little bit harder for us, because you really do need to have people on the ground and get to know the market. So I think our initial focus will be on Thailand, and possibly with Thai corporations looking at expanding into other parts of the world, particularly the States.
Is that got some potential? I mean, I know that the prices are right, as they say, in the States at the moment, but I guess that we think about American companies or other companies coming here. We don't think too much about Thai companies going international to that extent, like the big 500.
Well, I think so, because if you look around, you've got some pretty large corporates in Thailand. You've got CP, you've got TCC, so you've got a whole series of Thai companies that already have some presence overseas. I'm not saying it's going to be huge, but I certainly think there are some opportunities for that. If you look at Thai food processing and such like, then I think there are areas that would potentially come to.
And the Brooker Group actually look after the financial end, is that right? They do the research, they go out and look at what's available, what the marketplace may be, and then they look at potentially the funding of the projects?
Well, Brooker itself was originally a research organisation. In fact, it specialised in providing research for investors on stock market companies, and also was responsible for the business Thailand reference guide, which I think everybody used to refer to in terms of the top families in Thailand and what they owned. So I think historically there's always been a lot of information, a lot of data, but we also advise clients like Hemarat, which obviously has got a very large industrial footing. But no, more and more the business is moving towards an investment banking type scenario. Brooker itself is Brooker Capital, which manages stock market funds for foreign investors, Thai stock market funds. So really going away from the pure research element.
So would you say that Binswanger Brooker is actually unique in the field it's operating as a joint venture, rather than what we would normally see in Thailand? I mean, the competitors would not be as you are set up. They would be different groups, would they not?
Yeah, I think you've obviously got your traditional real estate consultancy businesses, which over the years have tended to drift away. When I came here in Open College Jardine 19 years ago, it was the start of the wave of international real estate consultants into Thailand, and we've had Chestertons, we've had Knight Frank, we've had Jones Lang and Richard Ellis, etc. But if you look at the landscape today, there's not as many, and they are tending to move in directions away from specialisation. And I think that's the issue with Binswanger, is that on the industrial side we will specialise in those areas which meet the Binswanger abilities, and then on the pure real estate side, specialist real estate side, then we will focus on transactions which could be debt restructuring transactions, they could be project workouts, but we won't be looking at the mass agency market that some of our fellow agents do.
Thank you very much for joining us, Nigel. I know we're going to be talking again. We're going to actually continue the interview now and then bring it to you again next week. Talking to Nigel about the market here in Thailand, who's buying, who's not, what the potential is. Is there any region within the country that has potential, additional potential? And I suppose the environmental issue is one that we all need to be concerned with. So we welcome you back again, and we'll look forward to having you on the program next week. Thank you very much.